everybody, and welcome. This is NathanOnShuffle, and this is the latest episode of New Music Friday. It is December 3rd, 2021, and I've got some interesting items today. I actually was almost considering not doing a show this week because I felt like there was limited news items to talk about this week. I didn't see a whole lot coming out that was a lot different than the things that I've already been discussing. But there's a couple things that I thought were worth talking about, so I thought I'd do a quick video, a quick New Music Friday about a couple items. They'll probably be a bit shorter than usual, but I thought it was a good idea to kind of come out with something to let you guys know I'm still here, still talking about the latest prog news, and kind of give you an idea of what's coming up on the channel. This is an exciting month, in my opinion, for end-of-year type content, and I'm really excited to dip my toes into it and kind of contribute to that space. So really excited to talk about it. So let me get into the couple news items I've got here. First of all, for my money, the biggest news was the new single from DVirgilio, Morse, Jennings, the new trio that's kind of more of a like Crosby, Stills, and Nash kind of vibe, kind of a singer-songwriter with multiple, three-part harmonies and so forth. Not very proggy, maybe more in a folk singer-songwriter vein, but definitely prog-related based on the musicians involved. Well, they've released their first single today, which is called Julia, a really cool song that really brings that flavor that I was expecting into this music. It has that Crosby, Stills, and Nash vibe. It has those harmonies that are just beautiful. It almost feels like kind of like June, or one of those types of Spock-Spirit songs that are more acoustic based, that are more Neil leaning into his pop singer-songwriter side, songs that sound like they probably could have been hits in the 70s because they harken back to that time period and that style. Just really beautiful melodies and a great chorus. I just think this is a great track that all of you should check out. I'll definitely link to the track in the description. All lovers of music should love this. I think this is something that you all should check out. So it sounds like it's something that Neil Morse and Ross Jennings kind of worked on together. Ross Jennings talked about how his original demo clocked in at the 8-minute mark and possibly lean too close to prog epic than the singer-songwriter vibe we were attempting to present on this record. So Neil arranged my lengthy ballad into something more concise in keeping with the album's essence and writing in a powerful new chorus in the process. This one was all about the three-part vocal harmony interplay and pull at the heartstring lyrics, which deals with themes of regret and forgiveness in the context of a broken father-daughter relationship. So Ross Jennings really brought this one on board, which is really cool, and it sounds like Neil Morse kind of helped him refine it into what it is now to make it fit into this singer-songwriter vibe that they're going for. So they released a track listing for the album, much as what you'd expect, 11 tracks. This is one of the longer ones at 6 minutes. Most of them are in that 4 to 5 minute range. And they released the pre-orders. There's a pre-order campaign going on right now, so you can go check that out at your prog store of choice. I pre-ordered my copy on Inside Out because it's a cool 2LP gold version that I thought would be fun to order. So that album comes out next year, February 25th. So we've got some time to wait, but it sounds really great. It's exactly what I was hoping, and I'm excited to have pre-ordered the album, and I'll be waiting in anticipation to talk about it. I'm sure I'll be giving it its full-on review context on this show. So that was probably the biggest news item from my sphere of influence, from the artists that I follow. The second thing I wanted to talk about briefly, not really news, but I wasn't sure where else to talk about this, and it's music-related stuff that's been interesting to me, is the Beatles Get Back documentary that a lot of people have been talking about, and it's on Disney Plus. It's in 3 different parts. It's done by Peter Jackson. It's very extended, and it kind of gives a very cool sneak peek into the Beatles towards kind of their end period during their Let It Be sessions, right before and during their kind of rooftop concert that they did, and doing some wild things that they were trying to go for this feel of like a live in studio type recording and a documentary and film and all of this stuff. And it was just a really interesting process and an interesting idea. And it just gives a fascinating look into these like luminary musicians and their process. So I've been really enjoying that one a ton, and just wanted to put that out there, that that's something definitely worth checking out if you're a Beatles fan, if you're a fan of music in general and watching the process of musicians and how they work. You know, they're coming in, they're developing and writing some of these classic songs from their late period of their catalog. There's some, you know, some fighting between the members, you know, there's some friction at certain points. It's the period where Yoko is kind of coming in a little bit and maybe infringing a little bit on some of the people's space, but you know, it kind of gives a well-rounded view of the band and the situation, and I think they actually kind of came together in a good way, and there's moments of fun and joy that I think are really fun to experience. I've only seen the first two parts of it. I haven't checked out the third part quite yet. I just haven't had time yet, and I've been kind of waiting because Jana's been saying that she's kind of interested, especially in that final part, because she wants to see that rooftop concert thing. So just wanted to bring that up. I know a lot of people in the music world are talking about it and excited about it, and I am as well. I am a big Beatles fan, and I think it's a really great experience to see them at their most raw and their most real. And that's really cool that this footage exists, that you can get such a in-depth look into an artist. And it's really cool that it's coming out, you know, at this time. Surprising that this footage hasn't really come out until now, because this has happened, you know, well over like 40 years ago, right? So it's pretty crazy that we're getting this now, but I think it's well worth it, and I recommend it for those of you out there. I'm sure many of you have already been watching it if you're interested, but just something that really struck me that I've been interested in. Another item of news, I know this is an artist that I've talked about briefly, I think, on previous shows, is Devin Townsend released kind of a really interesting duo of releases today, The Puzzle and Snuggles. Two more, they're really not traditional records for him. They're more like almost like soundtrack, you know, atmospheric style music. Puzzles is more of the chaotic version of that, and Snuggles is more of the calm version. But it's just a musical expression meant more to be kind of this multimedia experience versus like a traditional album. He is writing a traditional album, which should be coming out next March, called Lightwork, that he's been working on. But this The Puzzle and Snuggles is kind of this interesting atmospheric, you know, soundtrack style music that's, for him, is kind of a soundtrack to his experience through the pandemic. So I think it's really interesting as a piece of art to check that out and see his feelings, and maybe it'll resonate with you and how you felt about the pandemic as well. I can imagine this could be kind of an emotional release for some, and it could really be an interesting one if you're into that kind of music. Good like soundscapes and different ambient and different kind of music of that nature is what I'm imagining. So just wanted to mention that briefly, that's an interesting release that came out today. You could check that out. I also wanted to mention there was a really touching tribute to David Longdon from Big Big Train. There was a short video that they released called A Film for David, soundtracked with the ballad Capitoline Venus, which a ballad coming up from their new album that comes out next year, Welcome to the Planet. So it gives an array of photos of Longdon from throughout Big Big Train's career and pictures of him with his fiancée Sarah. So just a beautiful little tribute that they did that I think is well worth checking out. The video was created by animator Christian Rios, who also made a recent video for the Underfall Yard. So I'll link to that video. Definitely check that out if you're a fan. I think that's kind of a must-watch for those who love Big Big Train, love David Longdon, and want to give tribute to him in some manner. I did a sort of tribute to him last weekend. You can check out as well. Me and Jana got together and talked a bit about the situation and about how we felt about him as an artist, and even did a bit of a reaction / discussion about Telling the Bees, one of Big Big Train's songs that David Longdon wrote. So really want to turn your attention to that if you want to check those things out, because it was such a massive loss. I talked a lot about it in the last New Music Friday and don't want to dwell on it too much more here, but such a tragic loss, and he was gone way too soon. And so it's been quite a process, like trying to process the information and figure out how to move forward with it. So it's been nice to see the support and the touching tributes and things that have come out have been really helpful in guiding through this feeling and this time of kind of mourning. So definitely check that out if you're a fan of his. And finally, just wanted to talk a little bit about my year-end stuff that I'm planning here. That was kind of one of the main focuses I wanted for this video, because I'm doing pretty much every week in December, I'm doing some kind of year-end type show that I'm excited about. I've plotted this out and have a lot of interesting things. The first coming up this next week is a giant new music shuffle. I do these new music shuffle shows where I feature various different new albums that I'm excited about and do kind of a couple quick reviews. This is a giant one that's going to feature, I believe at the moment, there's 30 different albums that are going to be covered across this video. I'm going to do very quick shot reviews, like keep them within a minute long, just to give you an impression of how I felt about the album and what the album's about, just so you can check it out if you're interested. But just albums that were notable this year in the prog realm, or albums that I liked but just didn't have time or for various reasons didn't cover them on the channel. I thought this would be a good catch-all for that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about that. That'll kind of kick off my series of shows for the year end. And then I'm going to do a show the week following of honorable mentions, albums that don't quite make my top tier list of favorite albums of the year, but were really good. And many of them, most of them really, are ones that I did reviews or talked about in a new music shuffle throughout the year on this channel. So it'll be just a way to honor those releases that I really enjoyed and thought were really great and are deserving of attention, but just didn't quite make it to my top tier list that I'm compiling of my favorite albums of 2021. Then the week after that, I'm going to do a best tracks of the year. Go through some of the songs that connected with me, do I think like a top 25 list of the songs that I liked the most from the various music that I heard throughout the year. And this will be, it's wide open, like it can be from any genre. This will be a way for me to talk about a few things that aren't really totally in the prog lane, but that I really enjoyed as tracks. So I just thought that would be fun to go through. I'll try to put in clips of some of the songs so you guys can check them out if you're interested, and link a Spotify playlist so you can listen to my favorite tracks of the year. I thought that would be really cool. And then finally, it's all going to culminate at the end of the year of this kind of big album, best albums of the year style show that I'm planning that I think is going to be a lot of fun. So that's kind of the schedule throughout the rest of this month, throughout the rest of the year, really. And I just wanted to mention it because the shows will be a little bit different than typical. We do have a Classic Albums 101 show on David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, coming out next week. Me and Jana did that. But that'll be the last Classic Albums for a little while I do these year-end shows, and we kind of take a little bit of a break because of holidays and various things going on throughout December and January. So probably won't return to Classic Albums till maybe mid to late January is what I'm thinking, but we'll still continue on with Jana Reacts throughout all of that time. I know I took a little bit of a break from Jana Reacts this past week to do that tribute to David Longdon. I thought that was appropriate. Plus, there's kind of a reaction from Jana within that video, so you still could see that if you really want to see a reaction from her for this week. But we'll have our usual Jana Reacts this coming Sunday, and it should continue on our cycle as normal. So that should be cool. And I have a couple extra shows that me and Jana are planning together. So should be a really fun time. And I just wanted to tease that out and let you guys know what's coming up, because I know it's a little bit different than the norm. So anyways, that's basically what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found something interesting in that mixture of things that I talked about. Please let me know in the comments how you're feeling, what's going on in your musical world. Maybe talk about some of your favorite albums of the year, since I'm kind of working towards some year-end content here. What are your feelings about the DVirgilio Morse Jennings album. Are you excited for that? Are you anticipating it? Are you pre-ordering it? I'm curious to know about how you guys are feeling right now. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and for all that you do for the channel. Grateful for the support, for just the views, but also the likes that you give me, the comments are all really great ways to support me, and then I'm really happy to see that interaction and things. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I'll hopefully catch you in another video. Bye.